Finally, yes, finally, we're going to watch it. So the series with Reckless Ben has obviously seemingly come to at least a hiatus, considering the legal troubles and everything and him having to stay quiet. And they have successfully abused and used the court system to avoid accountability and public accountability and people talking about them. And now we have another player has entered the game. Now CoffeeZilla has made a video about the entire topic. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
A $200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective. This time in the $10 million Lego studio. So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me.
Dude. What is this? Brick by brick. Can you believe that? The case of the missing Legos. Holy shit.
Before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell. And he was supposed to get a cut when it sold. The entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection. And a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner,
not
Josh
the best,
Johnson,
by the way,
ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon.
That was an asshole.
Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem. And this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related
only
to Mr.
$2,000 and
Mansell's
$5,000.
collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store.
Where'd they go?
Given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos. But what? In order to solve this case, let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise
Damn, so he interviewed everybody. Holy shit.
owner who signed the collection agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were
stolen,
in the police report or stolen during those.
Okay, so the Gormans say emphatically it wasn't thieves, but if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested?
Reckless Ben.
I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego.
This video, I don't think I will ever forget watching this video. That shit was fucking crazy.
Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs.
RICO.
He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos?
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation to us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
Okay, I'm gonna be...
It's obviously bullshit. Like, they obviously just said that to justify terrorizing this dude with the legal system. Like, that's obviously what happened.
Be honest, apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
The guy who runs the entire company, Ammon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No.
Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did take the Legos.
No. So we have our attorneys have visited. Like again. So who's like
Brian Mansell?
It's actually crazy how totally fucking guilty he looks acting. Like, he acts so fucking guilty. It's crazy.
Okay. And who is that?
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Never happened.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks and Minifigs.
The people you just saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked,
why would they do that? Of all the people to talk to, you thought that you were going to talk. This isn't ABC News, okay? Like, why would you even consider this?
Then do they have the Legos?
What a fucking idiot.
What I can tell you is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing on November 14th.
Well, and I guess no, not at all. I'm going to say, like that is not accurate at all. Because
so you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. When you
What Legos, bro? Like, what do you mean Legos? What are you talking about? Legos? What's everybody talking about Legos for?
You look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year.
What did he
say? He explicitly stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on-site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been...
But you're the one... So, like... I don't... This is unbelievable. So who's responsible for the storage? Is he... Because somebody, obviously, like, when you put something in storage, somebody gets paid for that. So, like, if you go... You can't just go to the storage place and open up one of the sheds and put all your shit in there. Like, somebody has to pay money to buy a key. So who's on the fucking account? Wait 30
big
seconds.
Subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location in the letter that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend, while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Okay.
Oh no, they're off-site. Like, yeah, it was gone. Caught? Dude, they're such liars. It's insane. So they're in the store, yeah.
So for most of the time, the sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that a lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that...
But wait a minute. But the implication of the safes is that they brought them back and put them in the safes. Like, I feel like that's kind of where we're going
later,
here, right?
They no longer use those off-site locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners, after all. I mean, Shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs, who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store. And so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things, which we've had franchisees do in the past. And that's problematic.
It's bad,
So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which can happen in franchising, where a franchise owner just kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so Bricks and Minifig story.
So you're softly implying that they stole the Legos? See, this is the reason why I don't believe that. It's because they already said prior to this that let me see if I can remember how all this fit together. They said they don't know what the contract was. They wouldn't even talk about the contract. So, if you're not even going to acknowledge the contract or anything,
is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover. Right. But at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gormans stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, hiding things in the back, and that and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines. Yeah. Because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah.
Then why didn't you file criminal charges or do anything about this, or even say anything, period, about this at all? Why did you wait till right now after all of these bad things have happened? Where's the proof? Also, where's the proof of that? We've seen we've already seen the camera. Are you saying that you have access to it and you're not going to show that? Where's the security footage from any of this?
McNeff say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal arrests on her record.
What does that mean? Does that mean that she stole something when she was 18 from Sephora? Or does that mean that she's stealing things regularly? This is a 45 or a 50-year-old woman with an adult daughter, it seems. What are we doing?
We were not aware.
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out by several people online now.
Now look. That's a huge accusation to bring up, and so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it.
They're like, she has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're
saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Nope. Well, yes.
Well,
you know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
You see, you have to think like a roach to understand a roach. You do. This is just really one-off. Yeah, this is what people do. The thing is that it's so obvious. It's so obvious what's going on. Pre-watch, I really didn't. I actually didn't watch it.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now.
Clocked it 2 times. There it is. Damn, bro. This is the reason. You got to get scammers in the government. We got to get scammers in the government to be able to catch people. Pure Wilkes Project.
So this was in 1999.
Wow.
This, something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store.
You see him making up bullshit,
it is
too.
Another deflection.
What a rat. What a
piece
of... What a dick
You're
sucker.
going to try to publicly
nasty little
embarrass
dick
and shame
sucker.
me for somebody that was manipulated by local police departments when she was pregnant and 19 years old. Fuck you. That's my response to that.
Wait, she says she got manipulated. That means that she probably decided maybe it wasn't theft and it was just a disagreement, that she did a plea deal for probation then. And that's the reason why it's on her record as theft. There's a good probability that that's what happened.
So sorry, you're gonna have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence.
We need to get like fucking CNN. You know, who is that Asian guy that like kept looking into like those Nick Shirley fucking like those hospices? We need to message that guy and be like, bro, have you seen this? Like, really? Like, somebody, like, we gotta figure it out.
To back it up.
Wow.
I don't know his name.
Kind of nasty and personal at this point, and I just wanted to give people kind of their side. But at every turn, I hope you understand, I'm getting contradictory stories. Down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Duh.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait. You told them?
Told them. They asked me.
They said they had no idea. They said if we knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
I told.
You see how he's framing it, that like she is like, dude, they like, honestly, the Mormon church should excommunicate these guys. They should. They're making Mormons look bad. And every Mormon that I've ever met has been an absolute patriot saint. It's really fucking up their PR. I didn't say execute, I said excommunicate. I did not say execute. I did not say execute. What do you think this is? Scientology.
Told them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue.
I was 18.
That and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, "That's so long ago. We're gonna hire you based on who you are now."
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own mind. My point is, one side says up, the other says down, and it gets to the point both sides start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. And so I'm like, look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Where I was told we are 100% have possession of photos that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying. Who's going to drop the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact, I scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold of Brian's collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th.
Correct.
Then you have corporate side. They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And on both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans, who basically have been...
Geez, guys. I wonder who's lying. The people who made up 5 other things, or the random 2 people that aren't involved anymore? Oh, man. What about the guy that's trying to reframe something that happened 20 years ago as something that happened right now? Oh, man. I wonder. Oh, it's so hard to know.
Insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon, too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh, and he told me, I think her pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying. Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the stakes have been established. And let's see the evidence, starting with Matt McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24th, 2024, for a baseline of how the store looked.
Right.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that correct?
Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing a store of Legos.
Correct.
You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked bricks and minifigs, but it's not terrible. It's I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So November 14th, when Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on, I gotta prep myself emotionally for this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is a big. This is D-Day. This is the big moment.
Let's go.
This is Brandon takes over the store.
All right.
This is we don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this.
Play it.
And I want to point out again that we've had this for a while. We haven't this is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So we'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. This is what the shelves looked like compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
This is after? Okay.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to state the obvious, go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like way less. So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th, those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they addressed the empty shelves themselves.
As we get to the very end of this video in particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe.
So where are the images of the safe? Because...
And then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night to keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Because they bought the safes. Well, what about the safe?
It's an explanation that kind of makes sense given the history of burglary. Now, of course, this is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back? Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Did he take, not in the back, but specifically in a safe? Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory in the store.
So there's no images of the safe? Of course. Wow, what a surprise. Oh, wow. Oh, who could have ever guessed? How convenient.
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items. And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over. And it valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask. Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Well, where are they?
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started...
Oh my God. This is insane. You don't take pics of the safe? That's like gold to actual real thieves. They know exactly how to break into the safe and see what picture it is, so that's why there's no picture. These were not public photos. You understand that, right? It's not like they're posting a photo. Look at my gold. Look at the gold in my magic box. I sure hope nobody takes it. That's why I put a lock on it. No, these are private images that are being sent for inventory and disclosure reasons. They're not sending this to Craigslist.
To bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So do you see that? Yep. So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
Okay.
It looks like a bookshelf? What are you, fucking retarded? What kind of a bookshelf has metal bars here?
If you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory format.
Can't they just identify what kind of safe this is?
Sure. That's cool.
I mean, anybody that knows
75041.
Anybody that knows anything about this could probably immediately identify it, right? Like, that's enough image.
Yep. The Vulture Droid.
75169.
169 I'm not seeing, so there may be... Okay, so there's one that is not on our list.
Let's try this. 10240?
Okay, nope, not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
3. I don't see that one either. So maybe those were locked at the time, and Brandon did not get those pictures.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. That's exactly the way that I felt. Yep. So let me get this straight. So even with the photos, let's go through photo realities. He could have moved them away in order to preemptively make this to where there's an alibi that they weren't there in the first place. Because at this point, the woman would have already left, and he could have just moved these items off of the shelves and then taken photos with the items right next to him. Number 2, the photos could have been taken from other days, or it could have been recent photos because the images are being shared with Coffee over a screen share, and so there's no EXIF data that's being presented or that's given in any sort of a direct way. Number 3, the images could be digitally altered in 50 other different ways. There's so many ways that this could be bullshit without even you're getting ahead of yourself. Well, I'm sorry. All
right, that's kind of a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more.
Yeah, so you went to check inventory and make an image, take an image inventory of everything, and you didn't take images of the things in the safe? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Who believes this shit? Really? Like, this is I'm mad even listening to it.
Goes in the Gorman's photos.
Are you kidding me? Give me a fucking
Brandon's
break.
Photos just didn't show. But corporate didn't really see it that way.
But still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking, again, 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all the photos yet. I don't know exactly how much.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great, this is what was there, I promise you it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so...
What, it's 80? Like, what does that mean? Like, does that mean, like... I mean, because here's the problem with somebody like him, is that you are a deceiver. You misrepresented this girl's criminal history in a way to make it seem a lot worse than what it was. And once somebody is revealed to be a deceiver, you should assume that every single word they say is either a lie or a purposeful omission. It's not the same guy? Oh, I'm sure they never talk at all. It's his brother. I'm sure they have there's no connection there.
Where's the rest of it?
Fuck out of here.
You got me. I don't know.
You don't know
Maybe
where
I'm
it
a
is.
little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been some U-Haul thing? There's no way.
Oh, yeah, have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We gotta talk about the U-Haul for a second. This is another one of those things that was like really disputed between the two parties, was this U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the night of the takeover.
So when Brandon came to the store that night, he was driving a U-Haul truck.
Now, in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he...
You rent U-Hauls. Like, that's the kind of shit that these rats would pull, by the way. That's the kind of rat bastard fucking dirty fucking bullshit that they would pull, bro. Like,
told me he was taking the keys and locking me out, that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck. Now, why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifix store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned, and he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon, Best, and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where?
Eugene.
Okay.
Eugene, okay.
Now, what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because I was talking to my co-workers about the situation about Salem, and we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will.
It's haunted by Reckless Ben.
Going around. But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, he exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us.
So Brandon said that Crystal stole the Lego sets and left the country. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Jumping off all the Lego sets to us that night. It was a bunch of used Lego sets. That's not what I surrounded.
Wait.
When he was jumping in, Brandon Best told us. When he was jumping off all the Lego sets to us that night. It was a bunch of used Lego sets. That's not what I saran wrapped. They had Star Wars City. They had just a lot of stuff. It was like a medium-sized U-Haul truck.
You can never believe a deceiver. The moment that somebody goes and they even begin slightly, even 1%, to say something that's not accurate, they are a deceiver.
Wait. They brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. A bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
So why didn't he take the photos of the saran wrap Legos? If he was taking images of the stuff on the night that he was there, why weren't the images of the saran wrap Legos there?
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's stealing all the Legos. Well, what do you got in there? Legos? Oh, okay.
Weird.
And he said, we're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate.
And also keep in mind that he also did the same thing to Reckless Ben. Is he accused Reckless Ben of stealing too? So now we have 2 points on a line.
That's where we have to distribute it. And well, it'd make more sense if we could take it because we're kind of...
It's a pattern, yeah.
The product we put on the shelves.
Oh my gosh. We really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about it. This Eugene, Oregon guy says, oh yeah, a U-Haul showed up with Star Wars sets in it.
Yeah.
Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeffs, I really got to find out what the truth is here.
If you know anything about it, let me know, because that's just something I heard.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul, it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think any of the, like, if you were to look at the footage, the Ring cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just got to find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you could see the window, but the problem is it's night outside,
it's dark,
so you can't see. And so I'm looking at everything.
U-Hauls are usually orange. You'd probably be able to see even when it was dark.
I can, and there's just nothing, you know? I have this alternate angle. I'm looking at that, and then, wait a minute.
There's no way, right? I mean, there's no way that it was just in the photo. I mean, there's no way. Like, I mean, I really? It's that easy? Like, what the fuck? The window stitched him out. Retard's razor. It's just what I said. Think of the dumbest, most self-serving, brain-dead, thoughtless, short-sighted, stupid thing that somebody could have for a reason. That's why they did it.
Zoom in on that photo.
Vindicated.
Bring up the brightness of this photo a little bit, and my gosh, there's a U-Haul in the parking lot right outside of the store the night of November 14th, 2024. This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I have seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot, and there's no U-Haul.
After seeing it,
well.
as I said, I really have to make a call. And that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked with Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said, hey, we looked into it. There actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand. And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee.
Oh, it's somebody else? Oh, right. Okay, bro, you are drowning and you are looking to grab onto anybody for a life vest. Are you kidding me? First it was Crystal, then it was Ben, now it's Crystal again. Like, I mean, are you and then it's some other secondary, what a fucking piece of shit.
That worked at another location, that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, like for a different situation that we had just
but that's not
gone through some things, and he had a previously, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location. You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul.
Oh, right. So it just happened. Okay. Wow.
Inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with some time after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
Yes.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with...
Just ask for the file. Just ask for the file. You can run the Exif data and figure it out instantly. Or have the person show you the file with screen share. Yeah, the metadata will show that.
And separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars.
And also, like, you could also go through, you could call the U-Haul, financial department and ask them who rented the U-Haul, ask the person put it on speakerphone, call them up and say, what day did I rent U-Hauls? What were the last 3 things I rented U-Hauls? They could instantly figure this out with this is so easy. That's private. It doesn't matter if it's private. If a customer asks to have their financial information disclosed to them, I'm saying the person who made the U-Haul call, obviously you're not going to get somebody else's information. I'm saying they could do it themselves because it's under one of their phone numbers. It's under one of their accounts. It's under one of their credit cards. And they could immediately disprove this by asking CoffeeZilla, would you stay on the phone with me? I'm going to call U-Haul customer support. You go through it, and then you'd say, this is my account. This is when that U-Haul was rented, and that's when it happened. You could instantaneously do that.
That's what he brought to the Eugene store and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene. That night. At midnight. So flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon.
Easy to be honest.
Midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why he had a U-Haul?
Wait, so he was living in wait, what?
Is that the reason he had a U-Haul was for this camper, or what's going on with the
Yes.
Why?
So wait a minute. So now there's 2 reasons for the U-Haul.
So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck and he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight, and he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for one of their box trucks, and so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th, and so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer to a U-Haul.
Couldn't you just instantly prove this with accounting? Like, if this was true, you could just instantly provide the paperwork because these are all company expenses. They're done through your company. You're the CEO. You can disclose any of this information that you want to, especially in a limited context. And you could have also done it under NDA with CoffeeZilla to have him verify it independently. So this is it. Everything about this is total bullshit to me. I'm so annoyed.
Drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store.
Yeah.
And then went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it, calls the locksmith, takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted, so and he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that.
So it's so there's a rent. Wait, so is it a U-Haul or is it a rental truck? Is it a rental truck that you got from U-Haul?
Grabs the rental truck and then heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem.
Oh my God.
And then, probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of, that's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Then you could instantaneously disprove it with digital timestamps. You could instantly do this. Like, if you were going to disprove this, I think that you could probably do this third party. You could probably almost do this third party, not even be involved. Like, if you wanted to disprove this, anybody could disprove this. He's over-explaining, a classic indicator of a lie. Maybe, right?
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon. And
yes.
Here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Because it was only a 1 hour.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta get up early for, my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. If it took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird. And it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with two more things. First, from corporate, I got the point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024. And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records of Brian's inventory of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. Now, before we piece things together, I need to address something. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000.
And this is Bricks and Minifigs said this.
Everyone knows this story as the $200,000 Lego collection. But sadly, that post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000. They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're unsold Legos. It's just rough possibilities. But the point is, it's worth nowhere near $200,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me there were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for.
My original...
I think the reason for that is probably because they were being graded based off of what they are worth on collection websites and not what they're worth at retail websites. As collector's items, that's probably what happened. I feel like it's... Or they could have just said it was higher. Who knows? There's a lot of ways that this could be described.
Investment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets.
So
it was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual evaluation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went, this is a nice even number that will grab attention and bring people into the store, so we went with that.
To believe that is accurate at the high end. It was one of those things where when she was looking through and going, it says this and it says this, you don't think even at the high end?
You haven't actually seen the spreadsheet.
No, I haven't.
You might want to cut that part out because he hasn't actually seen the inventory sheet.
The spreadsheet says about from between 85,000 to 120 something thousand. In the midpoint, about 107 or something like that. Of what was inventory. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a really big point of misinformation to clear up, because if we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number, the right value. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's...
Yeah, see, I was about to say, even if that was the case, it's not like they got half the money. So, even if you said it was $107,000, it's only 24.
In their inventory tracking list. And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, The remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been
It's
in
like
there
$80,000.
is about $82,000. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize this is a very different number than corporate provided, who found only $2,000 to $5,000 of it linked to Brian. And later they said they only found $13,000 to $15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11,000 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were in these photos. We looked through over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection. In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos matching Brian's collection that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now, yes, there are inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up.
You don't 4 to 1. You don't 4 to 1. Like, that's not no, there's no way. And also 4 to 1 was the highest estimate. Like, they said 3,000 was the floor. And that's like 7 to 1.
Some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but
no
wasn't
way.
Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I just couldn't find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with M&R Productions, who had recently purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him. This was stuff reportedly in storage, and it's interesting because of an early inventory list, which had a column called Location that Crystal used. And it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously, I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store. But there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures. Now, I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos were not part of the inventory spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks and Minifigs. This is a separate part of the collection. But I did a check, and 100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happened to be listed with a location of storage.
How convenient. Wow. Like, that's, who could have predicted this? What are the odds of that?
This starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to believe that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. Now, it was at this point I started looking more at the point of
still
sales.
45,000,
I realized
46,000.
maybe we could find some of this missing Lego there too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. Like, I guess this is what is entered when someone does a sale, and it's everything from September 2023 to November 2024 of Star Wars anything. And by the way, before we continue, yes, this was all a lot of work. If you want to, please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about $51,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection.
Wow. Why didn't he get the money?
That really worried me because Crystal's inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian. And Brian was only paid for that amount. But suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal. You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid $17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
I mean, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off.
True. Yes.
But the problem was there were a lot of these worth about $20,000 in layaway. And that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, "There were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over."
Where'd the rest of them go?
So on the list of that, on the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways
I haven't gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
Where'd they go?
Okay.
That's just the part that's surprising. That's the part
Where'd
that I
they go?
can't get my head around. I go, how could, let me just be really honest. I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know. I don't know how
She
that's possible.
stole
How
and
could there
moved
be
to
that
Spain?
much layaway? I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about bricks and minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. There's not that much layaway. I talked to people who were neutral, kind of on corporate side, but also people who were just normal bricks and minifigs people. They say there's not that much layaway. Help me understand why there's $20,000 worth of layaway here.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. If you talk to other bricks and minifigs locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of the Brian's collection,
Okay, good. I'm not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection.
What about the other 96?
It was not a common thing traditionally. I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came in. With Brian's collection, it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced, and a lot of the harder to find items. And so customers would come in and put, I'm going to guess probably half of those layaway items were not going to be sold to the person who took them on layaway.
Well, that sounds like bullshit because, okay, so if you took all the stuff and then the layaways never got finished, then you probably would have 90 people that were furious about this and had their money taken, right? I mean, logically, because you paid for half of it and now the item's gone.
Several
Let it
that
play?
would
Okay.
put them on layaway and then change their mind. So this was something like, somebody would come in and
Wouldn't you have
want
their phone
10
numbers?
different sets, but only be able to buy 1. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway. Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or we'd refund the layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because this collection was the collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to, to get these sets, we were a lot more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. So a lot of these, we had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off of layaway and then back out on the shelf, just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway. Okay. That was completely unique to this collection.
So look, I'll be honest, I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here.
So a lot of these are, look at this, it says POS final sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah,
because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So were they on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet? What's going on there?
I mean, without seeing the actual sales ticket and seeing what else, what items were sold together, what else was sold with it, I can't actually see the sales ticket. We had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, and then, or they were buying, 8 different things together, and then putting all of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok Village was one of those cases. At some point, he had, I think, like 8 or 9 different items on layaway. So they'd come in and make a payment for a bulk payment.
This many things on layaway seems like a lie. This is the same logic that I used with the Minnesota daycares. They shut down all the Minnesota daycares, and you didn't see thousands of parents coming out complaining that all of their kids didn't have daycares anymore. It's because they were fake. So really, if you had all of these people that bought things on layaway and then they didn't get their item, then they would be angry about this, and they would say, listen, we got fucking scammed. I was going to buy this, and I didn't buy this. So the only logical conclusion is that either they completed the sales or the layaways were not actually done because they were not with real people.
You know, I've got 800 things on layaway. I'm going to make $100 on my payment. One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one set, we'd pull that set out, mark it as sold.
Right.
So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer than that.
But I even found more than that in this POS data. I also found about $10,000 in sales that match Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
So some of our things that were not found were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. So like they weren't marked on the spreadsheet, but they were marked as sold via the POS system. And this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
See, and I don't know. Take anything happening from, let's see, sorry, I'm trying to do math here. I don't know without being able to see all of the records. There is a possibility that the consignments were ended when I wasn't at work and I just didn't go through and pull them up. They didn't get put in the consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through that.
All of them happened whenever you weren't there?
In a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. So it is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as being finished. I don't know that without going through and actually seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely possible that stuff did not get updated on my spreadsheet. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible. It's possible I missed things.
So where does this leave us? I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you that on the night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet, and if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
Okay. So Crystal, ultimately, also
we take on consignment.
Not necessarily yours. Brandon will take. And because taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to reconcile with Brian. Maybe she hadn't gotten around to it. And of course, corporate will probably take a more cynical view of what she's doing by printing these receipts. But the point is, regardless of whose side you're on, I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides. Abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of this up to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaways, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that was there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't fully know 100%, what these weird things were about, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct that more of that collection was there that night of the takeover.
Somebody stole this shit. Somebody took this, somebody has possession of this or possession of the income from this, and they're not saying it. I mean, it doesn't just disappear. That's it. It does not disappear. Somebody got it. Now, there's a chance that both parties are stealing it, right? It's possible. But at least one of them is.
Than previously thought. But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like, way more of the collection was sold and layawayed than Brian was paid for. But all in all, there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000.
Yeah.
I estimated, and I must emphasize, estimated with bad records, that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated. Much of this Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for.
That's like the overwhelming majority. That's like the vast majority.
Lego he wasn't compensated for. And I think honestly that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product, their service, and I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite. Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really...
Well, they said there wasn't a U-Haul, and then there was a U-Haul. And then they tried to coordinate with the police to have Reckless Ben arrested for a felony. And then they wouldn't discuss the nature of the contract at all. Like, yeah, the woman, it's kind of sus with all the layaway stuff, but like, I'm not sure about that, right? Because they could have, it's definitely possible that they could have sold it and it just wasn't updated in the system, right? That's definitely possible, especially because they were all new items. I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but what I'm saying is that like her story has like 1 or 2 inconsistencies and Bricks and Minifigs has like 10. And not only inconsistencies, but bad faith behavior. For example, framing her, her having a burglary charge or something like that when she was like 19 as some kind of like immediate problem that they would have made a decision based off of, right? Like, I mean, this is obviously the issue. And she was also much more forthcoming with everything as well, which is another very big component.
Awful customer experience that has snowballed into this crazy series of events. But instead of taking accountability for that, they've taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea. As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates.
Oh my God.
Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of...
It's more than that. No, it goes so far beyond that. And the reason why is because you have these people who are literally conspiring with the police officers to invent felonies to ruin a person's life. This is something that transcends Lego even. Like, it's not even about the Legos anymore. Now it's about, like, you are actually, that's like fucking corruption. You're trying to weaponize law enforcement, and there's like some Mormon religious angle to this shit as well. Like, invent what felonies? Felony theft. Like, what was the other one that they were trying to invent? Stalking too as well. And those are the first two, right? And then they even try to kind of manufacture a resisting arrest charge. Oh, felony drugs, exactly. And now there's those felonies. That's a lot of fucking felonies, okay? The fuck out of here.
Which we've rarely seen by just choosing the worst possible path at every fork in the road. Yeah. No pun intended. But the best path to making things right, in my view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on. Drop the aggressive legal strategy. Yeah. You are a Lego store at the end of the day. You are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits. But anyways, that's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out.
Does all that make sense to you? Because I'm showing everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are any of these numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
Yeah.
No, it's not crazy. But what's crazy, again, like all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like,
no.
Can people understand?
No, because the thing is that the guy that you had go in there and take inventory on that day chose not to take the photos of the things that were in the safe. Really? And then you said it was a bookshelf. And now we're going to be, let's be sympathetic to me.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey, you owe me $60,000 worth of product in Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal mentioned
Well, how would you not know who he is? You took on the consignment.
About consignment on our way out the door. And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego? Like,
well, yeah, because you've got, like, he's framing it as if he's being ridiculous. Like, it's being framed as if he is being, unreasonable by asking for $60,000 worth of Lego. Yeah, he's asking for that much money because that's how much you had. Duh, of course. Like the framing of this and like the language that they use is so, there's a contract. Yeah, it's his stuff. What about the contract?
Like, what am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
And what about the contract? What he tried to show you the fucking contract.
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make this story so hard to tell.
Earlier in the call,
they say you guys are unreasonable. They tried, and eventually they gave up.
Show me they tried.
They say they tried, and they were basically met with unreasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable?
What about the contract? Like, what about that?
Reasonable, do you think?
Well, I think they would say they provided the documentation, and you guys say you need more documentation. So, I mean, that's kind of the
right. A spread, like I understand, a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared online, but months after we asked for it.
It says I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owners Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.
Star Wars lot sold list.
at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024. And when I look at it, this is the Mansell list, I believe.
Oh, how about that?
So this would have been created under we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Yes.
Well, I had no idea. So if this is the first that anybody has shown.
I had no idea. This is the first time you're showing it to me. So let me get this straight. You have been embroiled in a controversy that's massively damaging your brand. It's causing you a tremendous amount of personal distress, and it's creating millions of dollars of liability. And you didn't even think to look in your Google Drive to see if there were any accountings of the information? Does anybody believe this shit? Are you kidding me? Holy fuck.
That a spreadsheet was created using Bricks and Minifigs Salem, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal. And we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know a lot of those types of things. And understand, I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know. And you can't, we don't know everything. And we don't go, looking in every nook and cranny everywhere. You know, like we just don't know.
You mean like the official accounting spreadsheet? Like that's a nook and cranny? Like this is the official, like you wouldn't think to look for this?
Know some of those things. So if that's there, we can now have our team go look for that.
Oh, now we can find it. Also, like, here's another reason why I think that they're bullshitting. It's because if somebody came in and made an entire series and everything about, oh, wow, you know, like you... what do you call it? Like you stole all of our stuff and everything. Like, why would you ever capitulate to that person? If somebody is running a harassment campaign on you, why would they ever admit or offer to make Brian whole? Why would they ever offer to give him back the money if they never had the stuff in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Like, you only do that if you're trying to, like, that's something that you do as like a concession. It's hush money. Yeah, exactly.
When it comes right down to it, they're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? Like, that makes no sense.
And that's another component, too, is that, like, I mean... They said $3,000 to $5,000. There is no estimate that's anywhere near that.
Got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, oh, and therefore these missing, you know, percentage, whatever that would be, 5%, is some magical other place? Or it was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it.
They probably took the pictures of it. They probably did. They're just not showing it to you. Like, you have to remember that this is the thing with CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla doesn't have any legal power. This is the problem with any third-party investigation, is that third-party investigations don't have the, basically, they don't have the privilege of discovery. They're not able to, you know, like ask a company directly and basically take the information. CoffeeZilla can only show what he's provided. So you should assume that what is provided, and more importantly, what is not provided, that probably is going to mean that, you know, that's going to be in their best interest. Exploratory surface coverage, basically? Yeah. He can't compel them the way Discovery can? No, yeah, he can't.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that. I am more than willing to do that. I need BAM to show me those tickets.
As they promised to do.
I will sit down with Brian and talk this over and figure out what we missed and where it was missed and how it was missed and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's like awesome. They're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing. They're literally going to destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
Sure, I'll be keeping you in the loop with what, you know.
Nice. I'm excited. This was good work.
I think that this is just like my conspiracy theory, and I have nothing to verify this with. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that if something bad like this is happening on this scale, it's probably happening on other scales as well. Generally, whenever you have systemic problems, you are going to have this happen repeatedly, right? So this is probably one instance of many.
Other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, right? Video brand ambassador Josh Johnson no longer working at Bricks and Minifigs. Bricks and Minifigs is suing Brian Mansell and Reckless Ben for over $1 million in damages. Restraining orders in effect against Reckless Ben to prevent him from speaking about Bricks and Minifigs. The Gormans are suing Bricks and Minifigs in a lawsuit claims Brian's collection had an original aggregate value of around $250,000. Wow. I mean, yeah, pricks and mini dicks, man. I don't know what to say. After listening to CEO's explanation, I'm more convinced than ever that U-Haul truck shot JFK. So true. Coffee getting involved feels like the YouTube version of the FBI taking over a local case. True. And the thing is that it looks like a bookshelf to me. Yeah, why would you ever say you're poisoning the well by saying that? And then, oh, they want $60,000 of Legos? Like, this is some kind of unreasonable ask. Like, what are you talking about? The other store is now involved, too. Yes, exactly. Excuse me. And the old nameless disgruntled ex-employee did it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Using someone's past to insinuate what happened was an incident was over 25 years ago is crazy. Yeah, it's also crazy as dipshits randomly accused the critics of dealing drugs. Yeah, and they also said the heroin stuff as well. I forgot all about that. Yeah, and then the police are like, dude, if anybody thinks that this is not foul play, I don't know what to tell them. This is so insanely, completely, obviously... There's something that is profoundly wrong here. Something is insanely and profoundly wrong. I'm going to link you guys the video. CoffeeZilla, I've watched a lot of CoffeeZilla's videos, okay? I have, and I love his videos. I totally support this guy. I've been watching since even before the Crypto Zoo saga. So I'm a huge fan of CoffeeZilla. I think he's a great guy, and I think everybody should subscribe to him. He only has 4.6 million subscribers. It should be 46 million. This guy is a legend. I wish we had people like him working in law enforcement. I wish law enforcement was involved with this, because I bet if you had the power of subpoena discovery, you would be able to figure out exactly what happened in like 3 days. Like, the fact is that they're probably communicating with this over and over. There's probably different, like, again, you have them tell the stories, then you go through all the records, see all the inconsistencies, bin it over that. I mean, let's be real. I mean, like, it's so obvious, right? They are involved, unfortunately. Yeah, the problem was the local one. I'm talking about federal. Like, we got to get the attorney general to know about this. Like, this is fucked up. This is totally, massively, ridiculously, unfairly fucked up. And yeah, also YouTube Warriors are digging at BAM owner's legal history. There's some crazy shit in there with him suing his dad for money. Federal law enforcement, not local ones. Do you think the gag order on Ben might be a blessing in disguise so Ben can't get himself in trouble when this is all straightened out? No, because the thing is, they're just trying to hurt Ben. They're trying to hurt Ben, and they tried to ruin his life. There's nothing that's a blessing in disguise about it, other than the fact that these parasites weren't able to do it in a more effective way. That's really all there is to it. They are awful. They're terrible. They've been doing this for the entire time, and I don't really know what else to say. I really don't. I am so completely and totally out on these people. I don't know what else to go with or what else to say. You see Spencer Pratt uploaded a new video. I'll watch Spencer Pratt's new video quickly. I did forget about that, but yeah, I'm going to take a look at it in a minute. But you should check out the court case hearing. Ben is being an idiot. Well, yeah, Ben is, and I think that, again, like, it's okay. What is this here? We exist, we matter. Inbred people with your insults. Okay. And yeah, anyway, we need Nick Shirley on this. We need somebody on this that knows what the fuck is going on, because I think that something is very, very clearly wrong. And just overall, this is a huge fucking problem. It is a massive problem. And Reckless Ben being reckless. Yes, exactly. Reckless Ben being reckless. And again, I think that he should, like, I talked to Reckless Ben a little bit, but I'm not going to talk to him anymore about the case, obviously, because that would entangle him in communication with the case, right? And so I would never do that. I would never even ask him a question about it, because that would also put him in a situation. So I don't really know. I'll look at Spencer Pratt and his video, but then I'll do some other stuff. And give me 1 second. And Tyler has a new video. I know that. I'm going to look at it. I don't think he has the funds. Did you see the video of Nick Shirley wrestling and taking down a UFC fighter? I did not. Is this the video that you guys are talking about? Is this one here? It's got 153,000 likes. I'm assuming that it is, right? Let me go back. I'm going to pull this up. Okay, yeah, this must be the video. All right, we're going to watch this video. But I just have to say, I think they're just about to fuck with him and then release him as normal. Yeah, I would say so. Did you watch the Fable video? No, I didn't. I probably should, but I haven't. So, yeah, I'm just I'm very agitated. I'm very annoyed. This stuff really makes me angry. And what makes me so mad about it is that what really makes me mad about people that are like this is that they think that you're stupid. That's what really makes me mad, is that the way that they lie is so bad that it's insulting to my own intelligence that they wouldn't come up with something that was more clever. I know that might sound stupid for me to say, but that's genuinely the way that I feel about it. Like, I'm not mad even that they're stealing it as much. I'm mad that they're trying to hide it, and they think that I'm stupid enough to believe their explanations. So that's they're lying into your face. They think you're weak. Exactly. And they think everybody is. And so they're saying things like, oh, there's no U-Haul. Oh, there was a U-Haul. Oh, well, that was for something else. But then this guy's calling and saying that, like, oh, they brought all this stuff in there. Like, I feel like there are so many different ways that you could just show immediately what this is. They take advantage of young and old people? Yeah, I guess so. And they're retarded, but not stupid. Yeah, I guess so, right? And yeah, what is this? It's stupid. They did all the interviews. It's all evidence. Yeah, it is. It's because they noticed the way they were farming each other's answers. Yeah, the what is this here? Do you see the new music video about the BAM situation? The Brick of Mormon? The Brick of Mormon. No, I didn't see that. Do you aware of the Gibson Go that the actual Justice Warrior set up for Ben's legal defense? No, I mean, like, obviously, if... Like, you know, again, like if he wants me to help him with that or anything else, I obviously would. And, you know, like any sort of referral or anything else. But, you know, like I'm not going to try to overstep and, you know, like involve myself in something if he's already doing it. So it's just really up to him what help he needs. Right. It's just that simple. So, yeah. And he knows that. He knows that. We had a conversation.